Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Reach Out. Today we are honored to have a special guest here back with us again. He'll introduce himself and then we'll go on from there. Welcome.
Thank you very much, viewers. My name is KITHYAKA, an entrepreneur and also a politician, environmentalist, and also a mentor. Thank you.
I'm back like I never left. As always, Daniel Lovi, and I really want to say thank you very much for always stay tuned at TCL Media. Kindly, if you have not yet subscribed, consider doing so. And therefore, we are going to pick it up from where we left the last episode. And today, Mr. KITHYAKA, once again, we say thank you for honoring our invite. And we are still here stranded. We are asking ourselves, are we really heading to the right direction? And after all, we talked about how we were brought up and how our environment, the contrast between our two environments. And today I want us to talk about peer pressure. Simply because now I can see that my brother here has been brought up in an urban area where he has found that every resource is being available to him and is able to do everything. But to me, I have to scratch from hand to mouth to see my resources. I get them by myself. So do you think that I can be pulled by or be triggered by a peer pressure of feeling like now simply because this guy has this resource, I have now to start pressuring my parents and tell them that I need to acquire something? Do you have a storyline that you can be able to share with us and tell us how maybe peer pressure influenced you? Is it a good or a bad thing?
All right, thank you very much, Bwana Lovi. As you've said, peer pressure is real. It's among it's not peer pressure per se only on young people. Mm-hmm. Peer pressure happens in older people. It happens in younger people, and it's across the board. It's just not only children. It can also happen to women. It can happen to men. And peer pressure is just when you try to conform to pressure from your peers. Mm-hmm. It could be old peers or young peers. Mm-hmm. I remember one incident when I was a young man. I think I was 16, 17. Mm-hmm. And we had this trend that every Saturday we had to go to Carnival. Carnival was a new place that had just opened and we were ready to go to Carnival. And so every time we had to get transport from where we used to live in Langata to Carnival and back. Mm-hmm. So we stopped now walking. We used to trek to Carnival. We stopped trekking and we started now stealing cars within the homes. So I remember one time we stole a car from my friends, and then the next day it steals another car from someone else's place. And I remember my pressure came one time and I was told, your dad has gone to the village. Mm-hmm. Why don't you steal the car today and take us out? And we went out. And that time you don't know how to drive. One of you is the one who knows how to drive, and you're all learning how to drive. So a lot of you are teaching each other. So you steal the car and you go out to Carnival, have a disco, get yourselves into a lot of entertainment. And on our way back, I had a very bad accident.
Before then, even before you get to the accident, what was the essence of stealing this car? Was it for impression or just to feel like you want to be that guy, you want to be that man so that you may impress the ladies?
No, I don't think it was more of the ladies. Our time there were no ladies per se. I think we used to hang more of the boys, mm-hmm. and the ladies were very few who used to go out. So it was not a lot about the ladies. It's just an issue of, at that particular time, we had been going to Carnival by Matatu up to somewhere near Uru Gardens, then you walk to Carnival. Mm-hmm. And then after that we are people who used to come and pick us up and take us to Carnival. Sometimes you get to Carnival, then you get someone to drop you back home. Then all of a sudden we sat down as a gang, peer pressure gang, where you're sitting out and boys within the hood, and you decide, I think let's just try and steal these cars, because there are cars in the compounds that are left on the weekends. Your parents have traveled, maybe they had the other car and they leave one car. Mm-hmm. So we just said, let's start a routine. So the routine started. I remember the first car we stole was a friend of ours, who, when the mother came back the mother was asleep, and he gave his mother some sleeping pill or something. And the mom slept, and he came and pulled the keys from her room, and we went out of the car. When she woke up, she realized the car was not there. So she called the police. That time Langata police had just been opened. So she called the police, and all of a sudden we were tracked down. But then I remember one time, now when we were bringing the car to their compound, the police was standing there. So we all ran out of the car, and the guy had to drive home. So the parents told him, this car, the police said, this car was at Carnival. Mm-hmm. So the guy was told, are you sure you're not in Carnival? He sold us out and said, yes, we're in Carnival, and my friends gave me peer pressure and I stole the car. So we stopped that one. We went to another friend of ours, who we did the same thing, stole their car. And as we left, I remember in the morning when we were bringing back the car, the mother went to pick up water from the kitchen and looked out and saw their car coming back. And she screamed and said, "Oh, our car has been stolen." So the whole estate woke up and we all ran away again. So it was all that. There was a lot of peer pressure. So this particular day, they tell me now, "Joe, we have been stealing our cars. We've done, we're around number 6. I think now you should steal yours." And this day I went and picked up ours and we went out to Carnival. And now, because I was sensitive that I didn't want someone to drive this car, I decided, let me drive it myself. And all of a sudden we were coming out of Carnival. It was a dusty road and we turned and we were just teaching ourselves how you could pull up a handbrake, turn the car around, give the 360 and turn from where you're coming.
Trying to drift.
So when we were trying that, the car lost control and it overturned. So you can imagine a brand new 504. I remember the number plate was KQD 175. And I don't know, it still has, it's still brand new, it's from the showroom. And I have to take this car back home. And I remember there was pressure because all my friends now took off. So the peer pressure now becomes you are alone now. There's no peer pressure, it's personal pressure. And you're driving back home and you're wondering, what do I do with this car? I remember my mind was drifting from selling the car, running away from home and many things mixed up. But I finally got home and parked the car. And 2 days later, my parents came back from up country and the car was in the garage. And my sister came out and told my parents, "This guy stole the car last night," but they didn't know what had happened. But they knew I went out to the car. So in the morning, when my parents came the next evening and they found that the car had not been there, I remember the car was taken to the garage, to Marshall's, and I was told, "What do you do with this car? What happened?" So I just thought I parked the car somewhere. And all of a sudden this guy came and knocked me. But the Marshall's guys are saying, "No, this car has overturned." So now the trick was for them to take me to where it overturned, to pick up a particular part. But they wanted to play my psychology to see what was it, an accident of hit and run or overturning. But I was innocent. So I was very naive that time. So I brought those in Carnival. I said it was around here. Then they said, "This car ilianguka hapa hivi." So that's how the story came. And then from there, I remember that's how I started my visit now to actually migrate to the village and eat. And now I became a village boy. So that's how I started relating with what I came from his side to your side.
Okay.
Yeah, that's now I started neutralizing my what do you call it? My cool kid, my cool kid habits to naturalizing habits. Where you become a gatherer and a hunter. Yeah.
But would you say there was a change of how your parents were treating you before the incident and after? Was there a difference?
Of course there was a difference. The difference started with me. I got scared. So I decided to start staying in the village. So every time we closed school, I used to go to the village. I stopped coming to Nairobi because I realized the peer pressure here was too much. My friends were unconsiderate because I was on my own at that time after the accident. I also realized that I was going through a wrong direction. I had the wrong friends I was keeping at that time. So of course there was a difference there because I isolated my own self for me to be able to map back what I wanted to do with my life. And I thank God that I was able to regain my thinking and focus to more on my education. And so there was that shift between ourselves and our parents. So they were able now to help us with that. Yeah.
Everyone now introduces us to something else we call rural to urban migration that affects most of people, right? And therefore what I want us to do now, we are going to take a very short commercial break and we have a lot of more stories that are coming up. So just stay tuned, make sure you subscribe, you comment, even you like. This is Reach Out.
Mental health is mental wealth.
Thank you.